Broadcast coming to you live from New Delhi. I'm right outside the Taj Palace Hotel, and this is where the high profile BCCI meeting just concluded a short while ago. The four selectors, one of them joining via video conferencing, and the Indian captain Rohit Sharma and the Indian coach Rahul Dravid had a 2 hour long meeting where they picked the 17 member squad for the upcoming Asia Cup. Remember, India is going to be playing two games versus Pakistan in that Asia Cup, possibly a third if both teams were to make it to the final. Other than that, this, as we are calling our program, is the road to the World Cup, because right after the Asia Cup, the Indian team gets directly into the 50 over World Cup. And the team that has been picked today, and I'll get you all the details, the team that has been picked today is going to be the team that will also be playing for India at the 50 over World Cup, which will be played at home, barring a change or two here and there. Predominantly, these 17 members are going to be your World Cup squad as well. Sunny Gavaskar will be joining us very shortly on the broadcast, and we'll try and analyze the team that has been picked for the Asia Cup with Mr. Gavaskar. But before that, let's quickly tell you the 17 member squad that has been picked. You've got Rohit Sharma, the captain, Shubman Gill, followed by Virat Kohli. Then you have Shreyas Iyer, who makes a return after injury. So does KL Rahul. He finds a name in the squad. You've got Hardik Pandya. Then you've got Ravindra Jadeja, the left arm spinner, and then the left arm wrist spinner in Kuldeep Yadav. That's 8 for now. Then you've got 3 fast bowlers in Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, and Mohammad Shami. Those are the 11 members. Let's go on to the remaining 6 members. You've got another fast bowler in Prasidh Krishna as well as Shardul Thakur. That's your 13 members. You've got another spinner in Akshar Patel. That's squad number 14. Ishan Kishan is 15. Surya Kumar Yadav, a middle order batsman, is at number 16. And you've got a young entrant in Tilak Varma. This is the 17 member squad that has been picked. However, there will be an 18 member who will be traveling with the team. He's not part of the 17 member squad. He's the 18th member, and that is Sanju Samson. He's only been taken to Sri Lanka for the Asia Cup as a backup for KL Rahul, who we've been told right now has recovered from his previous groin injury that he had, but has another niggle, so they want to wait on him a little bit more, and that's why just to cover up for him, they're also going to take Sanju Samson as the 18th member, though he's not part of the official squad. Sunil Gavaskar joins us live on the broadcast. Let's look at this 17 member squad, and why we're looking at it very closely is because this is roughly going to be the World Cup squad too. Any notable omissions that you can see, or this is pretty much on expected lines according to you?
Well, pretty much on expected lines. One or two here and there will always be, what people will talk about. But I think this is a top team, excellent team. I think probably the best that we could have chosen. And like I say, always, we can have our differences before the selection. But once the selection is done, this is our team, yours, mine, everybody's. All Indian cricket followers must back this team because this is our team.
Okay, as Sunny Gavaskar says, this is possibly the best team that could have been selected. The one thing, Sahibai, that becomes very obvious when you look at the squad, and I was trying to make the 11, you'd roughly have batting till number 7 because you'll have Hardik on the 6, and number 7 will be Ravindra Jadeja. After that, if you play another wrist spinner in Kuldeep and then 3 fast bowlers, the batting or the lack of all-rounders as such, do you think that's going to be a very crucial point going forward? Because we're looking at other teams that you will come up against, maybe in the Asia Cup, maybe in the World Cup. And one thing that you notice with most ODI squads right now, that the batting till number 10, the batting till number 11. In India's case, the batting finishes at number 7. Do you think this could be a worry going forward?
I don't think so. I think the batting that India has is a tremendous batting lineup. And we'll probably find very, very few occasions that the numbers 9 and 10 will be asked to bat because the top order is so good that I don't think you should be too worried. And if you have somebody like a Hardik Pandya and Ravindra Jadeja at 6 and 7, that is excellent. These guys can be finishers as well. So I think it's a very, very good team. And, kudos to the selection committee for what they have done.
Going to talk about two players that are making their comeback right now. Let's start with KL Rahul. Now, he had enough time to recover. We've been told that and this is the press conference that just happened, we were told that he has recovered from that earlier injury that he has, but now he's got another niggle. So they're going to carry Sanju Samson as a backup. My point to you is, because there are about, at best 9 ODIs to go before the World Cup, because of that long-standing injury, another niggle that's come up with KL Rahul, would it be prudent to, put all your eggs in the same basket? Would you still want the Indian management to look at KL Rahul? Or you think, no, when you now play the Asia Cup, because of uncertainty around his fitness, maybe Ishan Kishan should be that first choice wicketkeeper batter?
Well, let's see what his injury is like. There's another 10 days to go before the tournament starts, as far as India is concerned. Actually, 11 days to go before the tournament starts for India. That's enough time to recover from a niggle. And then there are more matches as well. We go right till the middle of September. So yes, I think it'll be fair to give KL Rahul, after all that he has done for India in the past, to give him the opportunity to recover, because we all know what a classy player he is. So give him the chance to recover, let him play a few matches, and thereby you will be able to see his fitness. If he doesn't stand up in the Asia Cup, then that maybe you have to look at somebody else. But at this particular point of time, I think it's only fair to give KL Rahul the time to recover from this little niggle that he has got, and then test him out in the matches that will happen maybe post the India-Pakistan game on the 2nd of September. There'll be some other matches that India plays. Maybe test him out in those games.
Let me talk to you, Saiba, as a former player who, if you were returning after an injury, and I'm sure you would have had, those returns into the playing 11 after an injury during your playing career. Your two middle order batsmen, it does seem like, as you're saying, you should back KL Rahul, give him time to be fit. Of course, Shreyas Iyer has cleared his fitness test, so he'll be coming back. But because they will be what it seems like right now, your backbone of that batting order, one at number 4, the other at number 5, would you be worried that they've had very little game time going into a World Cup? I agree that there will be a few games, at best 9 odd ODIs. But do you think that's good enough time? One is the fitness, but really getting back into the groove in terms of your batting form. Do you think that's a good enough time to have two very important batting positions filled by players that are coming back after a long time?
The worry is generally about bowlers. If they have not got any game time before they play a big tournament, because I think you want miles under their belts, as they say, in the sense that they should have bowled a few overs in a competitive atmosphere, in a big game kind of situation. And now we've seen that with Bumrah having bowled 8 overs, bowled really well, looking good rhythm, everything. So pretty happy to see Bumrah coming back as well. But I don't think the batters need that kind of game time. The batters, I think, will be able to. They will have done their fitness work in terms of training, etc. But I don't think for the batters it is that important. For the bowlers, yes, I think you do need a few more matches to test them out before you pick them for the big games.
Okay, let me talk to you about two players that now seem like it could be the end of their road for the World Cup, at least. Two players that were on the, almost on the verge of making it to the Indian team. In fact, were playing a few games, but now have been left out. One of them is Yuzvendra Chahal. The other is Sanju Samson. He's only going as a cover-up for KL Rahul, but it's now pretty much certain that your two wicket-keeper batters are Ishan Kishan as well as KL Rahul. And if KL Rahul is fit, Sanju doesn't get a spot. What do you think Yuzi Chahal and Sanju Samson could have done differently to have ensured that they make the cut in this 17-member squad? Because they did get a few games leading up to this selection.
Well, clearly, I think if Sanju Samson had got more runs, then he would have been a certainty in the team. So also with Chahal. But sometimes, you're looking at the balance of the team. Sometimes the selectors are hamstrung by the fact they are looking at certain different aspects as to the fielding aspect, as to what they can do with the bat in terms of, say, Chahal. Then maybe you can say that Kuldeep Yadav is a pretty handy batter down the order. So maybe that's why he gets the nod ahead of Chahal. Also, he brings a left-hand variety, a different variety. And so I think in terms of Sanju Samson as well, because of the fact that he's an all-rounder. All-rounder, why? Because he can keep wickets as well. So I think these are factors that, selection committee will look at. And I do believe Sanju Samson is only 29. So I don't think you can say this is going to be his last World Cup. There's plenty of time for him also for him to to get into the Indian team. Clearly, I think it's a very good side, and like I said, we should back this side.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about a few players that have made the cut. Let me start with the two fast bowlers in Jasprit Bumrah, Prasidh Krishna, coming back after a long injury layoff. Have you been able to see glimpses of them bowling in this Ireland series? And what do you make of their inclusion? Do you think they are getting close to their best? And what are the kind of signs that come with their inclusion into the Indian team?
Yeah, they certainly are looking getting close to their best. And don't forget, they'll be fresh, they'll be hungry. Hungry to do well. So I think that's a huge plus going into the Asia Cup as well as the World Cup. Yes, a 4-over game in as much as the T20 format is probably not the best way to see their fitness, but they haven't pulled up. It's not always what happens on the field. It's the next day how you pull up. For a fast bowler, the soreness is the worry. That doesn't seem to have happened. They get another 2 days before the next T20 game. That's also a big plus. So yes, I think the way their rhythm's been good. They've bowled really well. There's been no worries about no balls, because sometimes when you come from a break, I think your rhythm's not quite there. You tend to bowl no balls and wide balls, but we haven't really seen that. So pretty happy with the way these two have shaped up.
Okay, those two fast bowlers looking really good for the Indian team. So one more player. If I had to pick one player who's a wild card entry into this squad, I know pretty much we all knew what the 15-16 would look like. It was those one or two players that could spring a surprise. The wild card entry clearly has to be Tilak Varma. Was not even part of any Indian international team till very shortly. Plays in that series in West Indies as a great outing, not too great T20 as in Ireland. What do you make of a youngster like Tilak Varma being included? A left-hander, a middle-order bat?
Well, very good, because look, the man has done enough in the matches that he's played. He's shown what he's capable of. Yes, against Ireland, a couple of failures, doesn't matter. Everybody in a T20 game is not going to be scoring your 40, 50s and more. Sometimes you're trying to, look at scoring the big runs. Don't forget, there was threat of rain in the first T20 against Ireland. So you have to go look at the DLS factor. So look to score runs very quickly. So these are things that you've got to take into account. But the way the young man has shaped up in the T20s as well as in the ODIs against the West Indies, very encouraging sign for Indian cricket.
While I was attending that press conference, one question was asked to both the chairman of selector in Ajit Agarkar and Rohit Sharma was, the lack of all-rounders. There are countries where you've got batters who can bowl a bit. The example was given of the Indian ODI team, let's say, of the 2011 World Cup, where a lot of batters would bowl. To which Ajit Agarkar said that we're trying to convince the Rohit Sharmas and the Virat Kohlis to start bowling a bit. What do you make of that idea going forward into the World Cup?
Well, I mean, it's... if they had been bowling quite regularly, yes, it would be good. But when you look at the successful teams in limited overs cricket who have gone on to win championships, for India, you'll find that they've been full of all-rounders, batters who can bowl and bowlers down the order who have contributed when they get to bat about 6 or 7 overs. They have contributed, good runs. So yes, I think the all-rounders are going to be the key, and that's why it's good to see Hardik Pandya in the team. Hardik wasn't in the team for the last 1 year. Now he's come back, and he's the kind of player who's a game changer along with Ravindra Jadeja. So clearly, I think these two guys are going to be the key. So while we must try and leave, for example, the batters to contribute the main runs, and hope that Pandya and Jadeja don't really have to bat too much, and that they will do their bit with the ball.
Okay, last couple of questions, Ahmed, before we let you go. One about, a flexibility in the batting order. Rohit Sharma mentioned it, in fact, 2-3 times that he wants a batting order where batters can bat at different batting positions. That's where international cricket is heading towards. Different situation, need to adapt. there has been a few suggestions by a few former players saying that, listen, if you want to make your Indian batting order look a bit more solid, then maybe look at even a Rohit Sharma at number 3, maybe Virat at number 4, just to lengthen that batting order, because you don't want to be in a situation where your two best batters in Rohit and Virat are up on top and you have one half-hour session to the opposition team and then you set the cat amongst the pigeon and there's a bit of a panic. What do you make of this suggestion, or do you think, no, Rohit as an opener, Virat at number 3, non-negotiable, that's the best way to go?
No, I think any team has to be flexible. Any team has to be very, very flexible. So, yes, I think you have to look at options, but I wouldn't want to disturb the top orders too much, in the sense that I don't think, Rohit Sharma should be looking to bat down the order. But yes, you can look at having Kohli at number 4, particularly if a wicket falls early. Look to have him go down, because sometimes, as you said, the new ball can do some early damage. Every time India has lost, I think it's the fact that the new ball, in the first 10, 12 overs, India has lost 3 or 4 wickets. And both the wickets have, out of those wickets, it's been Sharma and Kohli who've been the victims. So it's been difficult. So maybe look at that, but depending on the situation. Otherwise, I think it should be that they bat in their normal positions.
Final question, Saibai, before I let you go. Just a generic take on the Indian team's injury management. What do you make of it? Because we've had a lot of crucial players being injured. I mentioned Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul, Jasprit Bumrah, Prasidh Krishna have returned right now. But there's always a lot of uncertainty when it comes to, injury management. We keep hearing about workload management. Even though the workload management happens, we still get a lot of injury. We are at a stage right now where we still don't know KL Rahul, will he be fit or not? You've had to actually take 18 members. You'd have to pick 15 at the World Cup, but right now you're even looking at 18 because you're still not certain. Overall, what have you made of the number of injuries that have been happening to Indian players, and also the management of those injuries at the NCA?
Well, I don't know about the NCA management factor, because I can't really comment on that. But I do believe that, cricket fitness is most important. And I think Ajit Agarkar, now being the chairman of the selection committee, will probably be able to throw light on the fact that when he was with a franchise, the biomechanics experts were not really allowing the bowlers to bowl more than 18 or 20 deliveries in the nets. When in a 20 T20 game, a bowler will have to bowl 24 deliveries at least. So so you want to get cricket fit. So it's not a question of how many miles you run on the treadmill. It's how many bowling miles you do with the ball. How many times you run, in the nets, in the practice matches, that is important. So I think that is an area that India needs to look at. A lot of these injuries have happened because of overload as far as gym work is concerned, not cricket work is concerned. So I think that is the worry. If you look at all these back injuries that happen, it's trying to lift weights. I'm no expert, and I could be wrong. But, I just think that trying to lift weights, which are much more than what you should be doing, and which is really not necessary for cricket. Lifting weights, I don't know how it helps your cricket. But okay, if that's the modern way, that's the modern way. But along with it, you're finding a lot of back injuries, which didn't happen in the past, because in the past, not too many people lifted weights. They just ran around, they bowled, for about 1.5 hours in the nets. They batted for about 25, 30 minutes. There are a lot of, other running around. They did cricket fitness. I think we should look at cricket fitness, not gym fitness.
I think that's a very, very pertinent point that Sunny Gavaskar there makes. In fact, we can have an entire debate around, these new training methods, and why is it that fast bowlers of the past continue to bowl, 20 overs in a test match day in and day out, and yet never have these kind of injuries that you're getting with a lot of fast bowlers now. Saibai, thank you so much for taking our time. Before I let you go, I've just reminded, because it's become a trend right now for everyone to pick their top 4 in the World Cup. I know it's still a distance away right now, but we've kind of seen every team with the kind of combination that they're going with. If I had to press you and ask you to pick your top 4 for the World Cup, would you be able to do that for us?
Listen, it's going to be India. I don't care who the other 3 are.
Okay, that's nicely summed up. But you know what? We're going to have Sunny Gavaskar coming on India Today and Sports Today in the days leading up to the Asia Cup, then the World Cup. So we'll have plenty of time to ask him this question again and again, and we'll, hold him to really zero it down to those four. For the moment, the best that we're getting out of him, India is there. We'll see who the remaining three are. But Sunil Gavaskar, thank you so much for taking our time, speaking to us on a day that the Indian Asia Cup team is announced. And as I keep saying, why it's important, because this is going to be your team for the World Cup as well. Pretty much the 17 that are here will make those core 15 as well. I'm afraid that's all the time that we have on this broadcast, but news and updates can